championship standings heading into the doubleheader weekend. But with more than 100 points up for grabs over 2 races, what might other drivers risk to catch the head hoonigan? With great risk comes great reward. Can anyone snatch the points lead from Block? This is Red Bull Global Rallycross, Los Angeles.
Well, Red Bull will put a track anywhere in GRC, and they've certainly done it again here this year in Los Angeles. I mean, this place is way crazier than last year. And let's not forget that last year it was Nelson Piquet Jr. that had the 40-point lead coming in here, left Los Angeles 34 points behind. So this place has a history of wreaking havoc on your championship points leader.
Now, it's a very different track that we got here this weekend. Townsend, take us through it.
All right, well, let's go around this place. It starts off the starting grid there in black at the top of your screen, and they go roaring down to turn 1, which has got a big undulation as you go over it, then heavy braking for turn 2, and then you enter the dirt. Turns 3, 4, and 5 all on dirt. It's starting to really get grooved in here as we move through the preliminary rounds. Then you're up and over the jump, and then your penalty box is just out of turn 6. If you jump a start, that's where you're going to serve your penalty. You continue to wind left and left and left. This thing is like a cyclone. Only one right-hand corner, turn 11. It puts a huge demand on the outside tires, right front and right rear. Now, the Joker lap, your Cobalt Tools Joker lap is right here in yellow. You're not allowed to take that on the first lap, but you have to take it once and only once at some point during each race.
So let's have a quick look at how it all stands. Ken Block leads 40 points ahead of Sebastian Eriksson. Nelson Piquet Jr. up to 3rd. Austin Dine in 4th. Sandell 5th. Speed, Veman, Arpin, Tanner Faust and Deegan. Of Los Angeles with Red Bull Global Rallycross. You're going to see 2 semi-finals. The top 3 drivers immediately go to the final. Then there's an LCQ. Top 4 will go to the final of 10 cars over 10 laps. And at once in the race, the drivers must take the Cobalt Tools Joker lap at least once. That is what we do here in Red Bull Global Rallycross. And here is the first of our grids. They're lining up. The ship in the background, well, the Pacific Ocean in the background. I'm really looking forward to this. Townsend Bell.
Well, now as we move further towards the final, these semifinals become critical. Top 3 advances our royal purple starting grid. And up front, you've got Scott Speed, who's been lightning quick around this circuit. His Volkswagen Beetle is working so well on this track. Starts next to PK Jr. and then Steve Arpin outside row 1.
Then on the second row, we got Sverre Isaksson, Bucky Lasik, and Joni Veman. And then on row 3,
going back to Ken Block, and Ken is going to have to make some magic happen. You can hear the frustration in his voice when he talked to Kristen earlier. He's got to find a way right off the line to squeeze by. Austin Dine starting next to him.
And we are on board with Austin Dine at the top of your screen. We've got Scott Speed and Ken Block also on board with. So we've got 2 Ford Fiestas with Dine and Block, and then we've got that Volkswagen Beetle, as you say, with Scott Speed, who seems to have nothing but speed here so far this weekend. Speed technically on the pole position.
Yes, he is. I can see the intensity in Ken Block's eyes. I really feel like the last few rounds he's been conservative. He hasn't been as aggressive, not nearly as much car-to-car contact. In fact, he's been the one getting bounced around. What does he do here?
When the red lights go out, wait for the greens, and we're racing here in Los Angeles in 2015. Great start from Steve Arpin with the orange car. He gets a bit of a bump and a ball from Nelson Piquet Jr. He loses all of his great start.
And look at Ken Block. He passed 4 cars in the first corner, and he's going for another one. Now he's passed 5 cars. He's into 3rd place.
Oh no! The championship leader gets spun out at the 3rd corner, and Ken Block's day goes from bad to worse.
Oh, he has such a good start going. He did exactly what he needed to do. Now he's trying to refire his car, get it in gear. Now he's going again. He's got to be just furious.
Oh, so Ken Block, whatever happens, he's going to be in the LCQ if he can get this car started. Let's have another look at this again from the onboard.
Just about to come into the jump, and it looks like someone, I think that's Lasik,
just got into the back of Ken Block and spun him around, or maybe it was Isaacson. I think it was Bucky Lassick.
Correct. So Ken Block stricken on the side of the racetrack. The car might be damaged. Maybe there's some suspension damage that we can't see on the other side. So here we are on lap 2. Scott Speed comes past us on the crossover. Speed leads at the moment from Sverre Isaacson, from PK Jr., from Bucky Lassick in 4th position. Austin Dine, the local man, next up with his Ford Fiesta. He is there in 5th place.
And I think Ken Block was hoping for a red flag that didn't come, so he's now a lap down and has to continue. So Ken Block is a lap down. Massive, massive negative for him in the championship battle. He'll have to start from the back of the LCQ.
There is our reigning champion, Joni Viiman from Finland, the champion from 2014. He's just taken the Cobalt Tools Joker lap. The one and only time that he will take it in this 6-lap race as we ride on board with Austin Dine. Just look at how he pulls the gears before the jump.
And this has been a very difficult weekend for Austin Dine. He hasn't had the pace. He had some big contact in one of the earlier rounds, and now he's fighting for one of those top 3 positions. Remember, Speed, Isaacson, and PK Jr., as they sit right now, those would be your 3 to advance to the final. Neither of those drivers have taken the Joker lap yet. Only one, in fact, has.
Oh, bit of a touch there from Steve Arpin. And that push is...
Austin Dine.
Austin Dine into the wall. So that was a bit cheeky, wasn't it, by Steve Arpin?
Not sure if Austin Dine had an issue, because it looked like he slowed up all of a sudden there when Arpin got into the back. But we're back at the front now.
Real blue groove now appearing on the dirt. These 650 horsepower cars struggling to get their power down onto the dirt after it had been watered earlier today, but now it seems to be drying out, and there's no problem at all for our leader, the American Scott Speed, driving the German engineered Volkswagen Beetle in conjunction with Andretti RallyCross. Michael Andretti here this weekend, and Andretti doing so well, but they still yet to really get some good luck going their way in Red Bull Global Rallycross this year.
Yeah, they've had some mechanical issues, they've had some vulnerability issues with contact and braking parts, but this is the kind of weekend they need. Scott Speed out front, not really challenged from behind. And Isaacson, I mean, a big salute to Subaru. They took a race off, they went back to the drawing board, regrouped, they've come here with 4 cars, and the pace has been very strong out of the Subaru STIC.
Bucky Lassick 3rd in qualifying. He really had the pace here yesterday over 1 lap, and Isaacson is backing that pace up with the newly liveried, new for 2015 Subaru. There is Nelson Piquet Jr., Formula E champion, and a man who won last time out in Washington, D.C. White flag already out. 1 more lap to go as they start the last circulation here.
And there you saw Isaacson just out of the frame there, taking the Joker lap. And we're probably going to see most of your front runners, Speed and PK, take the Joker. They have to on this final lap. About a second, that'll shave off the time. And if PK can close enough, he might make a move on Isaacson.
Isaacson going slowly, Townsend. Isaacson didn't seem to have the drive out of the corner before the jump. Isaacson looks slow. He's defending to the left-hander. This is an opportunity for PK Jr.
Oh!
Hits him, and he completely messes it up. And that gives an opportunity for the other Subaru to come through. Lassick does come through to 3rd position as Lassick gets it sideways. He's going to spin it. Oh my goodness me. The winner is going to be Scott Speed. 2nd goes to PK Jr. and 3rd goes to Joni Viiman. Where did he come from?
Wow, that all went upside down in a hurry. Isaacson had an issue. I don't think PK had to press it that hard. I don't think PK realized that Isaacson's car was wounded. He forced the issue, big contact. Then Isaacson had a little retribution there, turned PK almost around, and then you had Lassick coming up behind his teammate, not wanting to make contact. What a finish.
Brilliant stuff, as always, from Travis Pastrana. Always gives you a smile on your face. Now let's have a look at our royal purple grid for this 2nd semi-final. On the front row, it's Tanner Faust from Patrick Sandell from Brian Deegan. There's a combination.
Oh yeah, there's going to be fireworks for sure. Row 2, Brian Wong. First Supercars race for him. He's done a great job so far. And then David Higgins making another one-off appearance for Subaru. Now these are our onboard cameras, Sandell, Faust, and Brian Deegan. And I got to say, Brian Deegan's pace has been really tremendous so far. Tanner Faust and another Volkswagen team with Scott Speed. Those 2 guys are the ones to watch in this race.
Patrick Sandell, he's lightning fast. He started over 50 World Rally Championship events. Deegan, always the tiger, always a gunslinger, always fast. Sebastian Eriksson there, just ahead of Travis Pastrana. Don't forget that the Swede, Sebastian Eriksson, is currently 2nd second in this year's point standing so far, and he's a rookie. Second semi-final underway. Oh, Deegan fluffs it. Nowhere. It's going to be Sandell. Look at Eriksson. And it's going to be Sandell from Eriksson, the two Swedes, first and second. Tanner Faust trying to go around the outside, but it's still Eriksson who bangs into the side of Tanner Faust, who somehow bumps his way through to second place.
Wow, what a great piece of driving from Tanner Faust to maintain control side by side over the jump with Eriksson.
Never concede if you're a Swede.
And here comes Deegan. Deegan has great lap time paces. He almost goes upside down, took too much of that apex curb, looks to the outside of Tanner Faust. If Brian Deegan can find some clean track, he's capable of really quick lap times here.
We're riding on board with Brian Deegan, trying to chase down Tanner Faust's Volkswagen Beetle in front of him. The Ford Fiesta goes over the yump and 650 horsepower is arrested. Still leading is Patrick Sandell with the Cobalt Tools car. Then we've got the Red Bull Fiesta, that is Eriksson. Then we've got Tanner Faust in the Volkswagen. Eriksson goes very wide. Once you get offline, you're in real trouble.
If you get into the loose dirt, there's just no traction, and you're just watching the stopwatch grow. Your lap time is falling.
No way can you get through there.
Deegan does. Yes, he does.
Oh, goodness me. And Deegan comes through again. So that means that Eriksson loses 2 places in just 1 corner. Deegan, always a tiger. Great stuff.
And there goes Eriksson, takes the Joker, wisely going to try to get back in front. Watch the crossover.
Oh!
Watch Tanner Faust try to go to the inside. He does.
Smashes some of the billboards on the side of the racetrack.
And Deegan
goes through again. So all that Sebastian Eriksson did is all in vain. Still leading is Patrick Sandell. He's had a shot. Second is still Faust from Deegan. That's our top 3. They will advance come the checker.
And none of these guys want to have to go to the LCQ. We'll have 5 drivers not making the main event here in Los Angeles. Now we're on board with Pastrana, and he's in 5th, but he is about to enter the fight in a big way. And I don't believe he's taken the Joker either. We'll watch across the screen. No, Pastrana's not taking the Joker. Neither is Sandell, Faust, or Deegan. There goes Deegan and Pastrana. Watch what happens as they come out.
Pastrana, oh, he nearly hit. He does hit the back of the Volkswagen Beetle of Faust. So he's up to 4th position now. Another cigarette paper, and he would have wiped out the rear of that Beetle. That was close.
So now he's 4th. He needs 1 more spot to transfer straight into the main event. And with Tanner Faust wounded there in front with the bumper hanging off, that's going to slow him ever so slightly.
So the leader of this race has still not taken the Cobalt Tools Joker, nor has the 3rd place man Tanner Faust. I remind you, out of shot leading is still the Swede. Here goes the Joker for Faust. Here goes the Joker. It comes up trumps though for number 34 with the Volkswagen Beetle. So Faust now up into 2nd position. Sandell is away with this one. He has a lead of some 4.3 seconds. He's safe with the victory here. We're riding on board with Deegan, safe in 3rd.
Well, safe in 3rd for now, but he's got his nemesis, Travis Pastrana, right behind him, and Pastrana's coming.
Travis Pastrana, he's had so much glory here in Los Angeles. Here we are, we're riding on board with an upper gear. Look at those great big starey eyes that Pastrana has got. He barely blinks around all of the 6 laps that we've got here in Los Angeles.
And let's not forget, Travis Pastrana is showing up for a one-off. The rest of these guys have run the entire season as we come to the white flag. Pastrana has no time in the car this year. He's coming off wherever he's been, jumping out of an airplane, going upside down on a motorcycle, and he's driving like a guy that's been in the series non-stop.
That's why he is Travis Pastrana. We always should never underestimate the pace of Travis Pastrana, and if he can make up just another couple of car lengths, he'll be knocking on the door of that 3rd position. Brian Deegan smoking that rear right.
And this has been the issue for this weekend as Deegan climbs a monster amount of curve there. The right side tires just really losing traction. Pastrana gets into the bumper, tries to turn Deegan, gives him a little bit of a rubbity rub. Now Pastrana is right there as they come to the checker, not going to be close enough.
Sandell takes the victory from Tanner Faust. Brian Deegan from Travis Pastrana just 2/10 of a second. Travis Pastrana misses out on a guaranteed spot in the final, but he will have an opportunity in the last chance qualifier. That was as close as you can get. You hit the nail absolutely on the head, Townsend. Hardly had a minute in the car, and yet he pushes some of the world's best in some of the best rally cars in the world. But the best in this semi-final, that was all down to Patrick Sandell.
I think the one thing Pastrana forgot is there's no style points for spinning out across start finish at the end, so that doesn't count. But this guy Sandell's really been on a roll. The last few races, him and his Brian Herta team, they've just done a great job. The pace has been very good. Made a lot of changes to get to this point this weekend.
Patrick Sandell, winner from Detroit, wins this semi-final ahead of Tanner Faust and Brian Deegan. I love watching Brian Deegan off the line. He's a real fighter in those first few corners, and it came up trumps for him in this second semi-final. Pastrana,
top 4 that will advance to the final round.
Here we are with our royal purple starting grid. Sebastian Eriksson with Sverre Isaksson, and then Travis Pastrana. Row 2 made up of
Steve Arpin and then Brian Wong trying to fight his way in his first GRC Supercars event into that final. And then Bucky Lasek, who's been very quick so far, had some issues earlier. And then back row, watch for the man there, 43-year championship points leader, next to David Higgins.
We are on board with Ken Block. He puts the visor down, the air-conditioned cool crash helmet keeping Ken Block cool. He's got the anti-lag, he's got the launch control, he's got 650 horsepower underneath his right foot. Travis Pastrana sets all of the ECU and the electronics so that maximum traction will be gained when these 8 cars leave the line. Wait for the reds to come on, then there's a gap, then we're going to go green. It's a 4-lap LCQ. Top 4 will go straight through to the final. Brilliant start by everybody on the front row of the grid as we charge down to the first corner. It's going to be Pastrana, or is it going to be Eriksson, the man second at the moment?
Oh, no!
The wall. The championship leader, Los Angeles, the first part of Los Angeles, has tumbled in front of Ken Block's eyes. And even if he gets going, is the car going to be okay? Today is not the day for Ken Block.
I mean, I got to think that right rear suffered some sort of major alignment issue, because that was a massive impact. In the semifinal, he went to the inside. Now he tried to go to the outside, and there just wasn't enough grip. A big hit into the fence.
Leading is Travis Pastrana, his first global rallycross drive of 2015, and he leads ahead of the Subaru of Sverre Isaksson, and then the man second in the championship at the moment, the Swede Eriksson.
And nobody allowed to take the Joker on the first lap. That's new for this weekend. Now, with Pastrana leading, Isaksson's right there. The Subarus, all 4 Subarus are in this LCQ, and only 4 are going to advance. There's Arpin all over Eriksson over the jump, and that's going to allow, I think that's Lasek up to the outside.
It is Bucky Lasek, who had a brilliant qualifying. He has been nothing short of meteorically fast so far here in Los Angeles. So Steve Arpin in the Enios Ford Fiesta, then we've got the newly brilliantly liveried Subaru of Lasek right behind him. Then we've got David Higgins, the recent Rally America champion for the 7th time in his career. There we see the Cobalt Tools Joker lap being taken by Steve Arpin, but he slots into 7th place. Still leading this race is Travis Pastrana from Isaksson, 1 and 2. Third then is Bucky Lasek, then from Eriksson.
And that transfer position is back there with Eriksson battling with Arpin. Now we're on board with Travis Pastrana. And I've got to say, Pastrana is driving in just the last few years. He doesn't do this all the time, but he's so composed. There's nothing ragged about the way he drives, but Eriksson has issues.
That is Eriksson. He's going nowhere. The rear right is completely locked. And there's a Subaru in massive trouble as well. That's Bucky Lasek, I suspect. Those two have come to blows whilst we were on board with Travis Pastrana. And Eriksson, he's got to desperately try and get through to the finish. Here we go. They touch once. They touch again. And then Eriksson hits the wall. Boom! In he goes.
And that was just good side-by-side rallycross racing. Unfortunately, when you're wide of the groove, even on the asphalt, there's so much dirt. As we're on the final lap here, there's so much light dirt outside the groove that Eriksson just lost all the grip, backed it hard into the wall. Now we're watching Isaksson follow Pastrana. That's first and second. Lassick currently runs third, and Steve Arpin will transfer if he can handle fourth.
And there is Ericsson. He's out. So the man second in the championship going to be non-scoring here in the first part of our Los Angeles double headers. And at the checkered flag, it's going to be Pastrana from Isaacson, Lassick and Arpin who go through to the final. But the big news here today is that the men first and second in this year's Red Bull Global Rallycross Championship are non-scoring. Ken Block and Sebastian Eriksson. Big news.
Big impact also for Brian Wong there. Not sure where or when that happened, but he has front end and massive rear end damage.
Brian Wong in the front of your shot, and Ken Block will be going home with a big fat 0 after this first Los Angeles round. That means that the man third in the championship chase, Nelson Piquet Jr., has got it all to go for in the final that we've got coming up in a few minutes' time. That was a big hit into the wall by the white Ford Fiesta. The Subaru went in on its own accord. If you look at the background, Lassick must have come to blows with
I think
Wong
that was Higgins.
On its own.
I believe that was Higgins and Wong coming together in exactly the same way, and again, just getting wide of that groove and into the light silt. Now here's your results. Pastrana moves on with Isaacson, Bucky Lassick, and Arpin. So 3 Subarus make it through.
Only 4 in front of him. Let's have a look at our royal purple grid. On the front row is Nelson Piquet Jr., Patrick Sandell, and Scott Speed with that pole position.
And all 3 have been so quick, but Nelson Piquet Jr.'s biggest challenge is starting on the outside. We saw it earlier in the LCQ. If you are outside through turn 2, it is loose. Pastrana, Deegan, and Faust make up row 2. Look for Tanner Faust to try to shove his way up behind his teammate Scott Speed.
Row 3 with the flying Norwegian Sverre Isaacson in his Subaru, and then the reigning Red Bull Global Rallycross champion Joni Veman. At the rear of the field is Steve Arpin with his Ford Fiesta. And down there on the grid is Will. What's the atmosphere like?
Absolutely fantastic, Toby. As you can see, our finals grid is set. We've got Scott Speed sitting in pole position. No surprise there. Some flawless driving from him through these heats. But of course, the surprise absence of Ken Block and Sebastian Eriksson has seriously opened up the door for 2 guys. Patrick Sandell sitting in position 2, and of course Nelson Piquet Jr. sitting in position 3. If Nelson wins this race here, he could propel himself into second position with a very narrow gap between himself and Ken Block, which of course is almost a mirror image of 2014 where Nelson fell apart and Ken took the lead. On the edge of our seats down here on the grid, guys, absolutely fantastic racing ahead of us.
There certainly will be. There's still 250 points still in play here in Los Angeles and in Barbados, and then the season finale in Las Vegas. Patrick Sandell, look at his eyes, a little bit nervous, bashing himself on the arms, pumping himself up, and there is Travis Pastrana clinking it into gear with his Subaru. Pastrana on the second row of the grid, and here is Scott Speed on the front row. If anybody's got the experience, it's Speed, but that drag down to the first corner is going to be everything.
It really is. I mean, so much like Formula One, even more so here in Red Bull GRC, the start is critical. Scott Speed just needs to stay clean.
10 laps here in the first of our Los Angeles double headers. The final is underway. Great start by the man on pole position. Scott Speed with his VW Beetle leads, with Patrick Sandell slotting into second position.
And but look at Piquet. Piquet tried to go to the outside. That didn't work. And look at Tanner shove his way past Sandell.
Piquet, I reckon, is dead last, as you say, Townsend. So it's the 2 Beetles first and second. Then it's going to be Patrick Sandell in third position. Then we've got Joni Veman fourth position as we come back onto the tarmac for the first time about 10 laps here in the port of Los Angeles.
Scott Speed got exactly what he wanted, a nice clean start, and then for Tanner Faust to follow. And look at Piquet, dead last. You cannot start on the outside here and stay outside through turn 2. It just doesn't work, and Piquet came out worse for it.
So the championship leader, the championship man in second place, not scoring, and the championship championship man in third position. Here is Nelson Piquet Jr., and he currently is dead last. He's in ninth position. It was going to be a 10-car final, but unfortunately for Bucky Lasik, he was unable to take the start. We are on board with our leader.
And such a big break for Volkswagen. They started the year very difficult circumstances, cars breaking, drivers having issues, and now they're running 1-2 in this final. We're on board with Tanner Faust, his teammate, and these Beetles are just going to start to pull away.
They certainly are. Well, he's right, racing in that second position. We're on board with Tanner Faust going up the gears, but there's a lot of pressure here for third position between the two Ford Fiestas of Joni Wiemann there in the Red Bull car and the Cobalt Tools car that we're riding with, Patrick Sandel.
And at the top of your screen again, you can decide, or you can find out who's taken the Joker lap, the Cobalt Tools Joker lap. And Wiemann is the only one in the field that's taken the Joker so far. Everybody else in the top 5 still has it in the bag.
And here is the advance of the Norwegians. It is the Flying Viking. It is Sverre Isaksson with the newly liveried white Subaru. There in 5th position. He's really making hay.
And Wiemann is slow. He just doesn't have the pace. Sandel needs the Joker right now, and I think he just did. Yes, Sandel takes the Joker. That's going to put him ahead of Wiemann into 3rd, and now he's got to chase down those Volkswagens.
With regards to Sverre Isaksson, they put a new engine in, fresh from Japan, a new block. It's got a bit more power. They've been testing with it. So fingers crossed, that is the turnaround of the season for the Vermont Sports Car Run Subarus here in Red Bull Global Rallycross.
But in order for Isaksson to take advantage of the newfound pace of the Subaru, he too is going to have to Joker, I believe, on this lap, because Wiemann just isn't quick enough to keep pace. Now we're on board with Travis Pastrana, currently in 8th place. He's had a good run this weekend, but not a great start there. He didn't make up many positions. That's Brian Deegan right in front. Travis takes the Joker. Let's see what happens between Travis and Deegan. Travis to the front.
Travis gets ahead of Brian Deegan, the black Ford Fiesta chasing down, but Deegan is always hard. He's always pushing and looking to see if he can get through. This is the battle for 7th position as we ride on board with Brian Deegan. Well, the two men, 2 wheels, now 4 wheels. Pastrana and Deegan still battling away here in the Port of Los Angeles. 650 horsepower underneath their right feet.
Toby, keep in mind that this is a 10-lap main. We have not seen anybody run 10 consecutive laps so far this weekend. The reason that's important is tire wear. The right side tires are under extreme load. There's 11 left-hand corners here, only 1 right-hand corner. There could be some tire issues with 5 laps to go because they simply have no chance to cool down unless they're in the air over the jump, which is for about a quarter second.
Yeah, they need more air, that's the answer. But unfortunately, you don't accelerate nor decelerate whilst you're flying through the air. I saw some of the tire temperatures from the technicians. 380 degrees Fahrenheit was recorded after some practice sessions coming into this weekend. So extreme circumstances in hot conditions here in California. We're right on board with Tanner Faust, our 2-time champion from 2011 and 2012.
And the competition should be very worried about this because right now they're 2 seconds clear of Sandel, and Speed and Faust haven't even taken the Joker yet. So the Volkswagen pace is exceptional, and we saw it right from the beginning. The balance of their cars, mid-corner everywhere, is just perfect. Nice 50-50 slide out of both the front and rear of the car, and that bodes well for tire wear.
Well, it bodes well for Volkswagen as we see Nelson Piquet Jr. trying to go around the outside of Joni Wiemann. Oh, the 2 Red Bull cars come to contact. Wiemann and Pastrana, they touch, and it means that Nelson Piquet Jr. has the opportunity to come through. And he does make it stick.
And they might have just woken up the bull in Travis Pastrana because he will not appreciate getting muscled out of the way. If he can catch these guys, he hasn't jokered yet. If he can catch these guys, he's going to put a fender on Wiemann. Watch this.
Here he goes through Travis Pastrana with the Subaru past the Ford Fiesta, and he really is now unleashed. He has had a red rag waved in front of his face.
It's really shocking to see the pace of Wiemann struggle so much. This is last year's champion. And keep in mind, he's in one of the Olsbergs Fords, and Sandel, some of the other guys are in the M Sport Fords. As we go back to our leaders up front, and it's smooth sailing. Still have that Joker in the bag.
The pair of them do. The Beatles beetling away. It had to be said, but there's no problem at all. The pair of them have a 2-second lead over that Ford Fiesta of the Swede, Patrick Sandell.
And I just noticed something Scott Speed did there. He is so smart. These big apex curbs right before the tunnel, he skipped it all together. He straddled the apex curb. He figured out he had enough ground clearance. He doesn't touch it at all. He just puts right-hand side tires over the curb and takes it right down the middle. Very smart.
Big job there from Tanner Faust as he flies over our figure-of-8 jump that we've got here in the Port of LA. Still, Tanner Faust could win this. If he takes the Joker at the right time, you never know.
Watch Scott Speed here. This is what I was talking about. He's going to turn in here. Oh, he missed it that time. He just drove over it, but so smooth, so precise. You never see smoke coming off the tires of Scott Speed. He just drives within the limit. 1 lap to go.
And when you see an onboard of Scott Speed, he barely moves his hands. You think, how does he put the lock into the steering wheel? It's just all about balance and finesse and making the car dance. He is one of the best drivers in the world. Come through Formula One, done some NASCAR, and here he is about to get his first global rallycross victory of 2015 in about another half a lap.
And where did Scott Speed start out? In go-karts, where tire wear is so critical and you can't afford to move your hands very much. He's taking all of the skills through all of those years in all the different disciplines and putting it to work.
So here we come into the last corner. They're going to take the Joker on the last lap, and it's going to be Los Angeles, the first victory of the weekend going to Scott Speed. It is a Volkswagen 1-2 with Tanner Faust coming over the line in second place, and third goes to Patrick Sandell. And what a result for Subaru. Fourth position for Sverre Isaksson on their return, as we have Steve Arpig, then Deegan and PK Jr. coming over the line. PK Jr. coming over the line.
And that
behind Pastrana. PK Jr. only getting 8th place.
Pastrana,
that's just 15 points.
Pastrana came through there at the finish, as you saw, elbows out and just pushed PK out of the way.
Here we are, riding on board with our winner, Scott Speed, here in Los Angeles. Round 8 going to the American in the Volkswagen Beetle. The season may well be turning around for the championship leader, Ken Block. He scored no points here today, but it's the first victory of the year for Scott Speed. We've had the first of our Los Angeles Global Rallycross finals here, and Scott Speed has made it a Volkswagen 1-2 ahead of his teammate Tanner Faust. Third spot on the podium going to Patrick Sandell. Isaksson so close to tasting the fizzy. Arpin, Deegan, Pastrana, PK Jr. Oh dear, what happened to PK Jr.? Joni Veman, Bucky Lasik. That's how it shook out.